Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Notes from a Songbird podcast with Myra DeShields Farrell. We are episode 11 into the art of performing and what it takes. I've got some notes with me, so I'll be referencing those to make sure I don't miss the mark with giving you tips and tricks on what you need to look out for. So, my name is Myra DeShields Farrell. If you've caught some of my earlier episodes, my goal is to help people align with singing and performing. Is something to be a master performer, meaning there are singers who sing and there are singers who perform. There are singers who sing and there are singers who entertain. People think they're all the same. They're not. There's people who I've gone to concerts, they've sat there and they've sung for me and I enjoyed it. But then there are people who I've gone to concerts, they've sung for me in that audience and I was thoroughly entertained. One in particular that I can think of is Anita Baker. Going some years back, she would sing her songs, which floored me phenomenal. I'm a huge Anita Baker fan. But in concert, she would take on the persona of Tina Turner and she would do Tina Turner. I had never seen that before in my life. From Anita Baker, so you took Anita Baker to Tina Turner, two different artists and forms of artistry. But when I tell you Anita Baker nailed Tina Turner, I'll never forget it. And it was something to see. I was thoroughly entertained. So there's just a difference there. I'm just giving you a point of reference. So if you have an idea, and I'm sure you could look at other artists that you're more familiar with where you say, I was thoroughly entertained. I think of Ray right now with her music out. She, to me, looks like she would be somebody who is thoroughly going to entertain me in concert or with a performance. She's not just going to sing. She's going to do something that's going to stoke that fire or keep my interest. So that's a point of reference to give you. All right. Do I have a male singer that would do that and thoroughly entertain me? Oh my goodness, Jeffrey Osborne. Just recently, I went to see Jeffrey Osborne, and I expected to have him visually sitting on a chair singing. The man was running all throughout the audience, and he was on fire. And I would definitely go see him again because I was thoroughly entertained. He didn't just sing; he thoroughly entertained me at the point that he was doing it. There's different performances and performance levels. I'm not knocking anyone. What I'm saying is that there's a difference and that you should be able to know what that difference is, decide what you want to do at some point, and you can pick and choose your performance. Am I going to sing this performance, or I'm going to be more entertaining during this performance? You certainly can start to develop your artistry as you go along. So just some points of reference. So performing is where preparation meets presence, meaning you've done the work. Now you have to stand and deliver and be present. Anyone can sing, but not everyone can move a room. Entertaining is that you're moving that room. I certainly understand that world. I just did a gig this past weekend, and I remember going to the individual and saying, what do you want me to do? And I gave them some song choices, and they picked choices where I could move the room, that people are clapping, toe tapping, and they're just jamming with me. So I totally get that, where people want to be entertained. All right. Here's what you should do as far as some pre-performance rituals. Vocal warm-ups. Why are these necessary? Vocal warm-ups do just that. They get the voice warmed up for the performance. They get that voice ready, sharp, crisp, on key, ready to embark on delivery. I certainly have made the mistake before in not warming up, thinking I can just walk into a room and just sing. And I will tell you, it doesn't go as well unless I warm up. And how do I do that? I warm up in the car. I will get different tunes on that I can warm up with. Sometimes I use my recorder on my phone. You can certainly get an app on your phone and record a couple of warm-ups so that when you're in your car on your way to an event, or if you're traveling, whatever way that you can do your warm-up. Now, warm-ups are meant to do just that, warm up. And I like to be in my car by myself doing my warm-ups. If I think I'm going to be in the car with somebody else, I don't want to bore them with the details of me warming up. So sometimes I wait to get on site. I'll go in the back room and I'll do my warm up there. So you have to pick and choose where you're going to do your warm up, especially if you have family and things like that and you're in the car. Nobody wants to hear you warming up, I promise you. You're just unless you got somebody who's truly there to see you do your thing and want you to warm up in front of them and they don't mind that. But I try to be mindful of people who are not singers and sort of irritating them. Certainly my husband, if I'm in the car with him, I don't want to do vocal warm-ups with him in the car when he wants to listen to his music going down the road, getting me to the gig, so to speak. So I try to be mindful. I'll do my warm-ups behind the scenes so that he's not bothered. And when I say bothered, not that I'm a nuisance or anything. I don't want to be intrusive to his space. It's a respect thing. He's not a singer like that. So he's not expecting to be in a car with somebody doing warm ups and doing scales and back and forth. And you get it. It's too much. So it's sort of being fair, right? Meet him where he is and he meets me where I am. Now, if there was a situation where I had no choice, he just have to deal with it because he would want me to be my best in sound versus making these mistakes in public. So something to think about. Mental grounding. You have got to mentally ground yourself. And what do we mean when we say mentally ground ourselves? We mean we've got to picture ourselves in that room and successful. We've got to picture the audience clapping. We've got to picture confidence. You see how my eyes are closed? Literally, I'm doing that to show you if I'm going to perform, I've got to picture myself being successful. In order to picture myself being successful, I have got to do the things that were necessary to be a success. So, like we said in the prior episode, make sure your music, everything is ready. Don't wait to the last minute to find out about the room. If you can, go to the room where you're going to perform so you can get a feel for the acoustics and where you're going to set up, where you're going to be standing. The more you can do to get comfortable in that performance, the better you're going to settle yourself, settle your nerves, and just be a little bit more aware of what's about to come. Protect your energy before stepping on the stage. What do I mean by protect your energy? Did you just get in a fight with someone? Did you just have an altercation? When I say that, people be like, what do you mean? And well, an altercation could be somebody, you're driving down the road, somebody gives you the finger, or somebody yells or spews profanity to you from the car. What do you think that's going to do for you right when you're about to take stage or get yourself ready? You're a little frazzled. So you have to be careful to protect your energy before stepping on stage. Try not to get into any disagreements. Try not to be around people who throw shade, you know, secretly wanting you to fail. I've certainly been around arenas like that where people literally are sitting in the audience just waiting for me to hit a bad note. And you say, who does that? I don't know. I don't want to be around those people, but somehow those people can find themselves in a room, right? So try your best to stay away from them. And if you have somebody who's with you that can keep you away from those elements, then do so. I will say this to you though. If I had somebody throwing shade to me in a room, I would kill it. I would kill it just because I'd be like, you throwing shade and I'm throwing performance. Just because, right? If you're coming from a space of pure joy, pure happiness, and someone wants to make you feel bad for what you deliver, shame on them. And it's their insecurities, it's their negativity that they got to go home with. You don't pack that. You just brush it off and keep on moving and do the thing that you were assigned to do. Because don't forget, you are auditioning for someone else. So that person throwing shade, they can throw shade all they want. Them other outsiders who enjoy you and stuff like that, they'll be the ones to say, hey girl, I got a gig coming up. Can I secure you? So be very careful. Get away from the negativity, let it bounce off and keep it moving. All right. Personal touch, your pre-show ritual. This makes it intimate and real. So start to develop a pre-show ritual in whatever that is that makes you comfortable. Do you have warm tea? Do you want to get to bed earlier? Do you want to have a restful evening? Do you want to pack up everything that you need pre-show ritual so that you don't have to worry about anything that's left behind? Make a checklist for yourself and keep that checklist every single time you're about to perform, and it becomes more intuitive for you to be ready for those performances because you're not thinking about what you're going to need. You automatically know, and you can kind of, or you could check things off as you go to make sure you don't forget anything. So these are things that help me settle, help me relax, listen to white noise as you sleep. Your brain's going to be going. You might be thinking in your sleep in the beginnings because your nerves. I certainly have been there before, but now I sleep like a log because I just feel like if I'm going to do what I'm going to do, I've prepared enough. I should be able to be good to go. When I find myself a little anxious, it's because of my preparation. I lack something somewhere or I'm unsure. So try your best to close the gap or doors on any type of latency, things that you haven't done that you should have, your nails, your clothing. Just make sure everything is ready. The more prepared you are early on, the better. So I would say this, if you know you have a performance coming up on Saturday, start preparing for your performance on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Like start adding little elements. And that way, by the time the week is up, you're good to go. That checklist is going to be your lifeline. It's going to really help you. Rest your voice. Don't oversing. Maybe practice here or there. Keep the neck covered from the elements. If you have allergies, do things for those situations so that you don't get caught at the last minute doing the things that you need to do to be better prepared. All right. Let's see, eye contact. Make sure you connect with the audience. If you're going to perform and you're singing, if I'm looking at that poster there, I am looking, you can see my eyeballs looking at that poster, looking at my face, look at the people, go around the room. The more you talk to those people and you sing, the more of a conversation it becomes, and it's a connection that you get, and it's energy going back and forth. But if you're just stoic and you're scared, you're tight, that's what people are going to read, and they are not going to connect with you. And they will be the person to say, I don't know about that performance. 9 times out of 10, you won't be that person because the director would have helped you develop a little bit more as you're in the role, at what you're doing, but you would have to do your homework as well. Don't put the director to work. You do the work. You show up. Don't be lazy. Get in there and do the work. If you do the work, it shines through better on your performance because you had your hand in it versus somebody telling you what to do and you just doing what they told you to do. You don't feel anything. You're just going through the motions. No, you want to connect with the audience. Read that room. Story tell through that song. Make sure you're storytelling the song. Make sure you're connected fully and committed, and that eye contact will be key. Your job isn't just to sing. So remember that. It's to make people feel something. So if you can make me feel something, or you can make the audience feel something, they will want to come back. They will remember that about you. And that connection gets you to that next platform, hopefully. Each one becomes like those stair steps, as we mentioned in the last episode. Stage presence and confidence. Your body language says a lot. So if you walk in the room and your shoulders are up and you're nervous, you're biting your nails and things like that, people can tell that you're nervous. Your movement tells whether, if you're fidgety, you're running around. Oh my goodness, I would perform with somebody who used to run into walls, bless her heart. But she just was so fidgety and nervous. She would be hurting herself, and it drove me insane just to watch her. People don't want to be around someone who's making them nervous. They want people who are going to settle them. So I've always been that performer that I try my best to settle people in the room to help them get ready for that performance so that they can be the best that they are. If they're settled, I'm settled. But if they're frazzled, then I'm looking at them going, oh no, you're not ready. And if you're not ready, I might deliver, but now what are you going to do? Now I start to project energy that could become nervous tension, and that you don't want. So what I've done is if I see somebody who's nervous and cuckoo cuckoo or scatterbrained, whatever, I get away from them. I completely, sorry, I hit the mic there. I completely get away from them because I don't want to be in their space of uncertainty and lack of preparedness. I just want to be somewhere where I can do the very best I can. And so if I have to go to another room, I don't care if I have to sit in my car, whatever I got to do, I get away from them because they need to learn to settle their nerves. They shouldn't be projecting that on other people. So just give you those tips there. Um, Own your mistakes without breaking character. So let's say that you forgot a line. Own it. Just own it and keep moving. Don't stop the performance. Don't say, oh, can we start again? That is a clear way to get yourself never asked to come back, because people are like, look, that person just doesn't know what they're doing. So, what does that come with? Practice. Practice that in the mirror. Practice singing. Practice what to say if you forgot a line, what not to say if you forgot a line, and just keep moving. It certainly happened to me where I forgot the words and I scattered, I think, one line just for the sake of having something in there. It can happen, y'all. Life is lifing. So just remember to do the best you can. As people get older, sometimes they don't remember lyrics like they used to. So sometimes a prompter is necessary, whatever. But do the best you can. Focus on the singing and delivery. Because I don't care if you don't have a prompter in front of you. If you cannot sing that song the way it's meant to be sung, it wouldn't even matter. People are hearing your tone, your voice, your pitch, your delivery. They're watching. So all of that has to connect. Emotional delivery, one of my favorites. Singing from experience. So there's a songstress, Phyllis Hyman, who would sing these emotionally deep songs that I would just cry just hearing her voice. And then someone would say to me, can you sing this song by Phyllis Hyman? And I would get emotional and start to tear up. Even now, as I talk about it, I can get very emotional doing some of her material, especially like her song, Living Alone. Oh my goodness, when she just starts off saying there used to be a time in my life when we were lovers, and you can hear the heartbreak in that song, that would take me to an emotionally delivery place. And I knew what that was. I had gone through a divorce. I had broke up with my boyfriend at some point in the past. So I use all of that to be able to sing that song and deliver it the way it should be connected emotionally. Now, some people don't want to do that. They don't want to go there with the emotion, but I promise you, if you do, your delivery will be more authentic and people will believe it because you're feeling something, you're making them feel something. And it doesn't have to be something sad. Like it could be the loss of an animal, it could be the loss of a dear friend or a friendship that didn't go so well. Find ways in which you can emote and share that experience. And don't be afraid to go there, because that's what acting is. Acting is going to places to get that emotion to come out as pure and authentic as it is. So do your best in that delivery. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. That vulnerability is what people connect with and they latch onto. That's not to say that you should be emotional in every performance. No, there's some that they're controlled singing. The singing should be more, I'm in control of what's happening in my life. So just make sure you can convey that story where that should happen, right? I think of Sarah Bareilles' Brave. She's strong in that song and you hear it. Make sure you deliver the control that you need to. Like a song like that would have a measure of control and enthusiasm. So make sure you deliver that as well. And forgive me if I didn't pronounce her name correctly. Let the song live through you. Let's say you in the worst mood possible, but they're asking you to deliver a song that's positive, then live it, embody it, become that, even if it's for the moment, for that delivery. Because guess what that says? That says you're willing to take that song and switch gears. You're changing your mindset. So you've got to have that growth mindset to be able to do that. Is there a story moment? Is there a performance where you felt the audience shift emotionally? That's happened to me. Like I've sung a song and I heard the audience go, oh, I can tell you what it was. I was doing, excuse me, I was doing Memories from Cats, and I was performing it. And I was performing it with sheer emotion. I was going back when I was in music school and the pureness and elements of that songstress, Barbra Streisand, okay? one of my favorite all times female singers, and every song Barbara Streisand sang just has that emotional connection and delivery. But Memories, where the cats are singing about their lot in life and what they're remembering. I could go there in my mind, and I just got so nostalgic. And I remember singing that song. By the time I got finished and I opened my eyes, the audience was clapping and cheering and going crazy. And I had even messed up a line in the song. Do you think they cared? They didn't care because I stayed stuck in that element with that delivery. That's what you want to do. That's a performance where the audience shifted. They connected emotionally, and it was almost as if they could cry from the way it was performed. It's on YouTube, by the way, if you want to reference that under Myra DeShields Farrell. But anyway, after the applause, let's say you stood, delivered, you did all the above, you did it so great. Take the moment, take your bow, and when you take your bow from a point of view. I did that gracefully. Take your exit, and then have your moment backstage. I've had that moment backstage where I cried because I couldn't believe I got off the stage and I did the thing that I might have thought, not that it was impossible, I might not have known the connection I was going to make. And then after I see that it's happened, the sheer emotion of it, I'm overwhelmed with joy and a kaleidoscope of emotions. And I just take that and I receive that. And I just pat myself on the back and I say, job well done. Growth mindset. Can you reflect? Can you reflect anything you could have done better? Not to strip yourself away from what you've just done, but I've certainly critiqued myself after performances and said, oh, wow, if I would have done this right there, that really would have hooked them. Well, then you might get a second chance to do that a little different, unless the director says, stay true to what you're doing. But have that growth mindset, because the director may want you to stay there. But when you perform that outside, maybe you choose that song for a showcase or whatever, you can get to do it in a more artistry way where it's more reflective of how you would do it, and you make a different connection. Have a growth mindset. Grow as you perform. Protect your voice and energy after shows. So, don't be screaming, I can't believe I done that. You screaming all that, you messing with your vocal cords. Try not to do those things. Just try to celebrate in stillness. With people, celebrate. If you're partying, whatever, that's fine. But that stillness, meaning you're not doing anything out of the ordinary that would hurt your voice. Let me just say this to you. Connection, not perfection, is what you want. Connection. If you connect, you get the performance of a lifetime. So make sure you take the time to connect. And when you do that, you are going to have an awesome performance, a stellar performance, one that you probably didn't imagine. I've had countless of those opportunities. And let me say this to you. Let me give you this other tip while I think about it. Keep a diary. That is the one regret that I have in performing. I never kept a diary. I wish I would have kept a diary of my musical performances and my journey, because I have so many good stories, and I just wish I could have cataloged them by the timeline of which when they happened. But you're getting it early on, so catalog it. Catalog your beginnings. Catalog your connections to people and how it made them feel and how you felt. Because when you write those things down, now you have experiences in which you can share eventually, like yours truly is doing right now with my point of view. But I have mine cataloged up here. But what I'm saying is, it's something to have it true to life and in that specific moment in time where you could go back and say, I was this age when this happened, and at this point I did this, and the growth is there. I can tell you, so from 2001 to, no, I'm not saying that right. sorry, 2004 to 2026, my growth was exponential. And it was like breaking the ceiling. And at that point, I just became unstoppable from a standpoint of trying to better myself in performing. Now, life can happen. We can lose our voice. We can get nodules. We can get all kinds of things that impede our ability to perform. So I'm hoping that I can continue to perform as I get older. I just don't know. I do it for as long as I can and for the love of it. And I enjoy entertaining people. And I enjoy giving that gift to people and watching them receive it. That's what does it for me. So always know what your why is. Why are you doing this? Are you trying to be famous? Don't go for the fame. Fame is not something that you can harness. Go for the performance. And if you go for the performance, the rest will come. When I say the rest will come, the money, the experiences, the growth, go for that. Those are the things that keep you singing for a long time and keep you under that longevity umbrella, such as I have experienced. And you're a better person for it. You're a better individual for it because it's going to teach you the stuff of life. It's going to teach you how to fight for something you believe in. It's going to teach you how to fight for yourself and your abilities and not take those abilities for granted. So take care of your voice. In closing, performing is a conversation between your soul and the audience. It is you giving of yourself to that audience to receive it, and the audience receiving it and giving it back to you in the form of applause. I'm going to say, as a listener, that you step out and perform, even if it's small. My beginnings of performing was a family of five, my mother sitting before me with my stepfather, and us kids putting on a little performance that we had come up with on our own and said, watch us do this. Those were my beginnings. And I remember that like yesterday. And I remember my mother smiling and probably thinking these crazy kids. But that's the beginning. Those were my beginnings. And after a while, I saw my mother's face and I wanted to see that smile on other people's faces. I liked when she smiled. I liked when she received what I did. And I'm sure my siblings as well. And as a result, I decided to go further and say, I want to do that. Once I started watching people on TV and seeing the performing element of it, and the joy, I wanted to do that. So if that's where you think you can go, you've got to build on a platform first. You've got to learn to sing and you got to open your mouth. You can't try to go with a music teacher and they strike a note and you don't want to sing. If you're not going to sing and use your vocal cords, don't bother. Don't waste anyone's time. Don't. Because this is for those who really, really want to do something with their voice. They want to be better than the average Joe. All right. Or maybe they want to sing and they want to be the average Joe, but they want to be better. You've got to determine what's your why. Why are you here? If you like this episode and all the other episodes, please like, subscribe, and share. The next episode, episode 13, is going to build on this episode. It's going to talk about your nerves. One of the things I get from people is how do I control my nerves? My nerves take over, my voice shakes, tone comes out different. I don't sound the same. Why can I not get this thing in check? We're going to talk about nerves in episode 13, how to control one's nerves, especially when performing. But for now, I hope that you enjoyed this episode from Notes from a Songbird podcast. Myra DeShields Farrell. And I wish you a good morning, good night, good afternoon, and take care.